I came into this world already surrounded by blood, born into the Uchiha clan, one of the most powerful and feared clans in the Hidden Leaf, but also one of the most misunderstood. Our eyes, the Sharingan, were both a blessing and a curse. They said we were too proud, too powerful, too close to rebellion. But I didn't know all that when I was born. What I knew was war. The Third Great Ninja War had swallowed the world whole, and my earliest memories weren't lullabies or family dinners. They were screams, flames, the smell of scorched earth and steel. I saw death before I saw peace. I saw what the shinobi worlds really meant before I could even ride a bike. Imagine being 4 years old, standing in the middle of a battlefield with more corpses than clouds in the sky, and realizing this is what people call duty. That moment changed me, broke something inside of me, but also built something. I made a promise that day. I would find peace, no matter what it took, not just for me, but for the world. From early on, they called me a prodigy. I wasn't just good, I was different, special, born with clarity that most adults never reach. I mastered the academy curriculum before I was 7. My teachers couldn't keep up. I could analyze full battle scenarios, perform complex jutsu, and read political theory, while my classmates were still trying to make a shadow clone with the right number of fingers. I wasn't flexing, I was just ahead. And that's not always a gift. See, when you're that gifted, people either put you on a pedestal or keep you at arm's length. I was praised, admired, but never really understood. The older kids resented me, the younger ones feared me. And even within the Uchiha, that meant something. Our clan didn't praise talent the way others did. They expected it, demanded it, especially from me. My father, Fugaku, was the head of the clan, a powerful man, cold, calculated. I think he loved me. But he showed it through expectations, through silence, through nods after missions and quiet approval. He looked at me like a tool he could sharpen. But my mother, Mikoto, she saw me, not just a shinobi, the boy. She was gentle, kind. She gave me moments of warmth that kept me grounded, especially when the world started asking too much from me too soon. And then there was Shisui. Shisui Uchiha, my cousin, my best friend, my brother in everything but blood. If I was the prodigy, Shisui was the soul. He was older, wiser, and sharper than most. But more importantly, he understood me. We trained together, sparred, shared our thoughts about the world, talked about peace like it was something we could actually create, not just dream about. He was one of the only people I could be honest with. He once told me, the more power you have, the more you must carry. That stuck with me, still does. Shisui awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan early. He had a jutsu called Koto Matsukami, an illusion so strong it could rewrite someone's thoughts without them even knowing. That's how much we both hated violence. We were willing to bend reality itself to avoid bloodshed. We made a pact, we'd protect the village and the clan, no matter what. But the tension between the two was growing, and we were standing in the middle. The Uchiha had been treated like outsiders ever since the Nine Tails attacked the village. Even though there was no proof, the village blamed us, our eyes, our power, our history. So they pushed us to the outskirts of the Konoha, literally. They gave us fewer missions, less trust, more surveillance. You ever seen your own people start looking at you sideways because you're too close to them? Because you're working with the village? That's what happened to me, and to Shisui. My father started attending secret clan meetings. Whispers turned into plans, plans into strategies, strategies into rebellion. The Uchiha were planning a coup. And suddenly, Shisui and I, we weren't just shinobi. We were stuck between loyalty and legacy. Sauske Uchiha. The day he was born was the day I realized I wasn't just fighting for the world anymore. I was fighting for him. He was small, wide-eyed. He reached for my finger and I remember thinking, I will protect this boy with everything I have, even if it means becoming the villain in his story. I used to tap his forehead and say, maybe next time, Sauske. He hated it. But it was my way of reminding him that I was always just a step ahead, watching over him, He adored me, idolized me. I tried to be gentle when I could, walk him home, carry him on my back. I wanted him to laugh, because I already knew what was coming, the sacrifice. The day Shisui died, I stopped believing the system could be saved. See, we had a plan, a peaceful one. Shisui was going to use his Mangekyo Sharingan ability, the Kotsuo Matsukami, to gently nudge our clan away from the coup. Not force them, just open their eyes, make them see the bigger picture. We were this close to stopping the war without bloodshed. But Konoha didn't trust peace when it came from the Uchiha. Danzo, one of the village elders, didn't believe in negotiations. He believed in control, suppression, elimination. And so he stole Shisui's eye, took it right out his head to keep the power for himself. That man, he called it loyalty. I call it evil. Shisui met me by the river, barely standing, bleeding out. He didn't cry, he didn't beg. He looked at me in the eye, handed me his last remaining eye, and smiled, and said, "Protect the village, Itachi, and most of all, protect the Uchiha's future." Then he stepped off the cliff, just like that. The strongest shinobi I knew, gone. They called it suicide, but it felt like assassination. That night, I activated my Mangekyo Sharingan, and something inside me broke. Not like a crack, but like a quiet, permanent silence. After Shisui's death, the coup was no longer a whisper, it was a storm forming. And I knew the village was going to strike first, or the clan was. Either way, blood would spill. That's when Danzo gave me the order, a direct command. Wipe them out, every last one, or watch the Konoha burn. I made a deal with the devil. In exchange for sparing Sausko's life, I would kill everyone else. The clan, my uncles, my cousins, even my parents. I still see their faces. My father standing tall, no fear in his eyes, just understanding. My mother smiling gently, as if she knew this was the only way it could go. She said, "Just promise me you'll take care of Sauske. You don't come back from this kind of night. There's no redemption, no comfort, just silence, just blood, just the echo of steel in your ears forever." I made sure Sauske wasn't there. When he arrived, I played the part. I stood over their bodies, eyes cold, voice empty. Told him I killed them to test my power, that he wasn't worth my time, that he should just live, hate me, get strong, and one day come find me. I became his purpose, his nightmare, and I disappeared into the night. They called it betrayal. They didn't know I'd saved the entire village from civil war. They didn't know the cost I paid. They just saw the blood. When you become a ghost in your own village, there aren't many places left to go. I joined the Akatsuki not out of loyalty, but necessity. I needed proximity, access, eyes on the ones who would threaten peace next. The Akatsuki weren't just a rogue gallery of misfits. They were predators, war criminals, demigods in human skin. Men like Kisame who treated murder like jazz, loose, chaotic, and improvisational. And then monsters like Pain, who talked about peace while drowning nations. But I had to play my part, so I wore the robe, painted my nails, let them think I believed in their cause. I let Kisame think that we were partners. I let the Akatsuki think that I was just another fallen Uchiha chasing power and vengeance. Truth is, I was still protecting the leaf. I just had to do it from the dark. I fed intel to the Konoha, sabotaged missions quietly, delayed assaults, avoided unnecessary bloodshed where I could, and I stayed alive long enough to wait for Sauske. And so, We fought. Sauske came at me with everything he had. Rage, talent, heartbreak. He'd grown. Stronger, sharper, colder. Each jutsu he threw at me carried years of pain behind it, and I received it all, silently, willingly. We danced across the battlefield like shadows playing out a tragedy written long before either of us were born. But I held back. Even dying, I could have ended it, but I didn't. I let him win. At the end, my body was failing, vision blurred to static, my lungs collapsing, and I walked towards him, one last time. I raised my hand, not to strike, but to do that. I tapped his forehead. Maybe next time, Sauske. And I collapsed, not as a villain, not as a hero, just as a brother. In my absence, it came pouring out. Obito told Sauske everything. The massacre, my role, the deal I made, the sacrifice. He told him I was never a traitor. I was the last loyal shinobi, and with that, everything Sauske believed shattered. All that hatred, all that purpose he'd built around killing me, gone, replaced by guilt, confusion, rage. Not at me, but at the village. But fate wasn't done with me yet. Kabuto, a pale shadow chasing godhood, brought me back from the grave using Edo Tensei, a reanimation jutsu that turned the dead into unkillable soldiers. But what Kabuto didn't know is that I had already planned for this. Years ago, I had implanted Shisui's eye, the same one he gave to me before he died, into a crow, and planted that crow inside Naruto. Yes, Naruto Uzumaki, the kid with the crazy chakra and even crazier heart. Shisui's eye held an ability no one else in the world had, Kotsu Matsukami, the power to control someone's mind so subtly that they wouldn't even know it was happening. I programmed it to activate the moment the crow saw my Mangekyou Sharingan again. Ever became a true threat to the village, the crow would fly out and cast the ultimate genjutsu, a single command buried deep inside: protect Konoha. I was free. I found Sauske on the battlefield, older now, harder, still carrying that fire but uncertain where to burn it. And for the first time, I told him everything. No riddles, no manipulation, no rules. Just truth. I told him the real story, that I chose to bear it all, the blame, the blood, the curse, so he could be free. That every lie I told him was born from love. He asked me one question I never thought I'd hear. Why didn't you trust me with the truth? And I answered honestly, because I wanted you to grow strong, without hate. But I was wrong. He needed the truth, not just to become powerful, but to become whole. Before I left again, I did something I'd never done before. I didn't tap his forehead, and I said, "You don't ever have to forgive me, Sauske. No matter what you do from here on out, know this, I will love you always." And with that, I was gone. This time, for good. They'll never build statues of me. No holidays in my name, no grand speeches. To most, I'll always be the traitor, the Uchiha who murdered his whole clan, the cold-blooded killer who wore the Akatsuki's red cloud like a badge of pride. But if you've listened this far, then maybe you see the truth now. I wasn't a hero. I wasn't a villain. I was a shinobi, a brother, a boy born in war who died chasing peace. And if you ever wonder what it means to sacrifice everything, to love someone so deeply that you'll become their monster just to keep them safe, then maybe you'll understand me. Not as a legend, not as a ghost, but as Itachi Uchiha.